don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of Taylor. It's interesting, he's going to try and pull all kinds of shenanigans on Axelrod again. I'm sure a lot of them won't work. I don't know what's going to happen with his wife. I really don't know what's going to happen, which is part of what I enjoy about the show. They don't tell me until we start shooting the season. They'll tell me where it's going to end up, but not how we're going to get there. So I don't know. That was actually interesting because I didn't think that was going to be a big deal. I thought they're going to hang me in a harness. I'm just going to be hanging there horizontally. And there's a consultant dominatrix who's there, and she said, actually, this can be sort of hard on your body. And I was like, really? And it was funny. Like about 2 days later, my back started killing me. And so that was actually, I thought, going to be one of the easiest things to shoot. And it actually ended up being sort of tricky. I like shooting those scenes. They're interesting and they're fun. It absolutely is. It's very difficult. And they will reach back to things from the first season. They're keeping it kind of consistently going. It's not like those seasons go away. All of these threads of plot go through it. So frequently they have to refresh me and explain to me what the hell's going on, because I will just get lost there's so many plot lines, so many sort of Byzantine conspiracies that it gets very easy to lose sight. Yeah. I hate wearing a suit. Actually, I'm not wearing one now because I hate wearing a suit so much. And I have to wear one every day on that thing. And they're not comfortable suits. They're very kind of tight and uncomfortable suits, which I think is kind of part of the character. He's very sort of buttoned up, but I hate wearing a suit. I think that's a very accurate way of putting it. That it seems like they are, and they are in a way, but it affects everybody. But certainly in America, there's no regulations on them. They're not like there were very stringent regulations to begin with, and now there's none. The past 4 years, past 3 years, they've all been taken away. So there's no sort of constraints on those guys.
And media has been able to show that, to represent that?
I think so. It's interesting. I don't think it's ever sort of been explicitly stated that those guys now no longer have that all regulations are off, but it's sort of been shown. The show started out being very much about this guy this was the law, he was going to implement the law against these guys, they needed to be regulated, and over time it's just become personal vendetta and kind of sick, weird, twisted ambition and stuff like that. And so I do think they've shown it happen, but they haven't literally said it ever in the show. I was pretty skeptical to begin with. So, I don't know that it's just deepened. Yeah, I suppose it has. It's just been confirmed in more ways. I've been confirmed in my skepticism. I enjoyed that. It was nice to have a different thing. It changed it up and it was fun. I enjoy working with him. And it was fun to have a different sort of color to it. Not just always this kind of two pit bulls growling at each other. We got to sort of have more fun together, and that was nice because he's a fun actor and he's a nice guy, so it was fun to work with him in that way. It does. I think they managed to keep changing him up, and it's sort of established that he's a kind of impulsive and capricious personality. So they will throw curveballs at me with the character. So I do feel like they've managed to keep him interesting. And they're so inventive, who knows what they'll do with it. They could do any number of things to change him up even more, So I do feel like they've kept him pretty interesting, managed to for 5 seasons. Well, like I said, it's certainly reflected this kind of sense that these guys are even more out of control in some ways. And that there's just there seems to be no sort of moral compass guiding anything. It's only increased that sense. Because things for Americans certainly feel like that right now, or some Americans certainly feel like that's true. There's plenty who think that's not true, but there's a way that there's a depiction of kind of male power in the thing. These guys have gotten more macho and kind of psychotic in some ways. The women are just as bad in some ways, but the men have become increasingly macho, and there's certain specific things that they've taken out. And some of the sexual, my confession about it was very reminiscent of a American politician who got sort of nailed for sort of sexual shenanigans recently, and some of the sort of Saudi embassy stuff. There are these weird sort of reflections that have happened just by coincidence. But, you know, overall, I guess the sort of shift into more aggressive billionaire behavior is the one thing that they've emphasized. Science fiction and horror movies and things like that. Spy shows, good genre stuff like that.